you get the on-air sign, we'll go ahead and get started. There we go. Well, welcome to the Xenia City Council regular meeting here on May 9th, and we're going to start off with a invocation by Robert Robbins of Hope Rising Pregnancy Center. Robin, you come and join us, please? And I ask everyone if you'd stand, please.
Thank you so much for allowing me to pray for you. I really do feel like you must need prayer because I didn't want to come in this rain,
right.
so but I'm here.
Yes.
So, dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this day, and I thank you for these people. All of the people that are in this room care about Xenia and the people of Xenia, or they wouldn't be here. And I just thank you that you would give them your wisdom, and you would just bless them mightily for all the work that they do, that you would help them to come together. It's so difficult right now, making decisions and just working with the people in general, because so many people have difficulties. It's a really tough time to especially be in politics. And I just thank you, Father, that they are still willing and that their hearts are really for making things better for the people of Xenia. And because of that, I pray that they would keep that focus and that mission, and truly come together and unite in the causes that are before them. And I just thank you that you would bless them tonight, and that you would help them get home safely, that you would even stop the rain so that they wouldn't get wet when they leave this building. So I thank you for everything that you are going to do tonight. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, Robin. If you remain standing, face the flag, I'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May be seated. We'll go ahead and call our meeting to order. Let's go ahead and start with roll call.
Vice President Smith?
Here.
Councilman Crawford?
Here.
Councilwoman Cerise?
Here.
Councilman Reynolds?
Here.
Councilman Dean?
Here.
Mayor May?
Here.
President Urschel?
Here. Next items are approval of minutes of our April 25th, 2024 council meeting. Do I have a motion?
A motion to approve the minutes for April 25th of 2024.
Great.
I will second that, please.
Okay, motion by Councilman Crawford, seconded by Councilwoman Cerise. Any questions or comments before we vote? All right, let's call the vote.
Vice President Smith?
Aye.
Councilman Crawford?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cerise?
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Abstain.
Mayor May?
Aye.
President Urschel?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Great. Next item is special presentations. We do not have any for this evening. And then next on our agenda is audience comments. If you'd like to address the council over any concerns or items that you have, feel free to come to the podium. Please state your name and address, and you'll have 3 to 5 minutes to address the council. I just also mentioned that this is not an interactive time. It's an opportunity for you to present your concerns or items to the council, and we may address those later on during our council comments. So if anyone would like to come forward, please feel free to do that at this time. All right, thank you so much. Next item will be our old business. The first is ordinance 2024-10. This will be a public hearing tonight. This is amending section 260.13C and section 260.15A of chapter 260 titled Personnel of the City's Administrative Code. This was introduced by the mayor at our last meeting.
Thank you, sir. I will move for passage.
Do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
So moved by the mayor, seconded by Councilman Reynolds. Mr. City Manager.
Yeah, this is essentially making some code changes regarding personnel as we continue to try to be a competitive employer. We want to address needs of more contemporary generations coming into the workforce and making sure that we have some flexibility, maintaining standards for the who are hired, but at the same time making sure that we're as good of an employer as possible. So as discussed with council last time, there were various changes that have been recommended that would be incorporated into the code. So again, I won't go into the detail, and those can answer any questions that the council members might have.
Great. All right, let's go ahead and I will open for the public hearing at this time. If anyone has any comments either for or against, or just observations here of this ordinance, please feel free to come to the podium, state your name and address, and feel free to address the council. Okay. As we have none, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Any comments or questions here from our council before we call the vote?
This was also applies to the union. The union already had this deal, correct?
Yeah, certain provisions within it, yeah.
Right. Okay, let's go ahead and call the vote.
Vice President Smith,
Aye.
Councilman Crawford,
Aye.
Councilwoman Surrice,
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds,
Aye.
Councilman Dean,
Aye.
Mayor Mays.
Aye.
President Urschel.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right. Next item under new business is ordinance 2024-11. This is emergency. This is amending ordinance 2024-06 to provide appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures for the city of Xenia, Ohio for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024, and declaring an emergency. Mr. Finance Director.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Later this evening, there will be an agenda item requesting award of bid for improvements to downtown sidewalks. That project was budgeted in the 2024 budget, but since it was originally budgeted, some of the parameters have changed a little bit. And so we're requesting tonight a transfer of dollars, so not additional appropriations, but simply moving those appropriations to different lines. The 603 line that we would request dollars be moved into is the utilization of federal grant dollars, basically program income that's available for this project. And then we're also hoping that a portion of the $361 will be covered by a grant that we've applied for with the county. And so I believe that we're fairly optimistic that some dollars will be provided to cover some of those portions of the expenditure. So we're requesting tonight that we, or the council, appropriate the dollars in these lines that are more appropriate for where the expenditure should happen. And we're asking to be passed as an emergency.
Okay, thank you. Any question or comments before we ask for a motion?
Yes, Mr. Finance Director, I have a question. How soon were you expecting that 361 grant to come in this fiscal year?
Yeah, I don't know specifics of when we'll hear back on the CIG grant. Do you have any idea?
It's a rolling grant period, so we can request it at any point, and it can be awarded. The turnaround time, at least on the answer when we would have the resources, I think would come fairly quickly. And that's just subject to the process that the county goes through to take those appropriated dollars and make that transfer. So hopefully we'll know in fairly short order.
Very nice, thank you.
All right. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Dean. Do I have a second?
Second.
Yes.
Oh,
Faith.
second by Councilwoman Surrice. All right. Any more questions or comments here? No? All right, let's call the vote.
Vice President Smith,
Aye.
Councilman Crawford,
Aye.
Councilwoman Surrice,
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds,
Aye.
Councilman Dean,
Aye.
Mayor Mays.
Aye.
President Urschel.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Great. Next item is ordinance 2024-12. This will be an introduction tonight. This is accepting the annexation of a 1.204 acre parcel on Van Eaton Road in Spring Valley Township and a 7.671 acre parcel at 1060 Lower Bellbrook Road in Xenia Township to the city of Xenia, Ohio. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, sir. On February 29th, the Greene County Commission approved an annexation petition from the property owner titled RTR Ventures 3 for annexation to the city of approximately 1.2 acres from Spring Valley Township and 7.67 acres from Xenia Township on Van Eaton and Lower Bellbrook Roads, respectively. The Clerk of the Board of County Commissioners delivered a certified record of the annexation proceedings to the city on March 4th of this year. In accordance with ORC 709.04, after the 60th day from the date the record of the proceedings is received from the city, the annexation is to be presented to Xenia City Council for consideration at its next regular session, which will be tonight. The council has 120 days to accept or reject annexation. If no action is taken in that time, the annexation is considered rejected pursuant to ORC 709.04. City Council previously passed Resolution 2024-005, which was the statement of services to be provided if annexed, as well as the Resolution 2024-006. This was the statement regarding zoning buffers as required by statute. The property is not anticipated to cause any conflicts with surrounding uses or zoning, given the projected residential product type that we are expecting. Adjacent township parcels are zoned A1 and R1 and contain a church and single-family homes. Adjacent parcels in the city of Xenia are zoned R2 and include existing and proposed two-family dwellings. Upon annexation, the subject properties would be assigned A1 agricultural district zoning initially. Staff does estimate the potential for fiscal impact of the annexation based on the property owner's proposed development plans to be positive. That analysis has been provided in your agenda report. Based on all of the information provided in our prior conversations with council, it is staff's recommendation that you this evening introduce ordinance 2024-12 and later approve this ordinance to accept the annexation.
Great, thanks, Brent. Any questions or comments here from council? Okay, do you have someone who'd like to move on the introduction?
So moved.
Moved by the mayor, thank you.
Second.
Oh, no seconds, this is just an introduction tonight, sure. All right, next item is Resolution 2024-26. This is waiving competitive bidding and authorizing the purchase of two F-550 truck chassis from the Germain Ford of Beaver Creek and authorizing the purchase of two F-550 truck bodies from K.E. Rose Company through the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Program. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you again, sir. I want to take just a minute and give a little context to this. There's some history here. Authorizing the 24 budget is funding for the purchase of two replacement vehicles, the first of which would be a heavy-duty work truck for our water maintenance division. The second is a similar type of unit for our sewer maintenance division. For the water unit replacement, council had originally authorized the purchase of a new vehicle in 2021. Unfortunately, the vendor subsequently informed staff that it could not provide a time frame for when that vehicle would be available. The order was subsequently canceled. The former vehicle was in service. We stretched it as long as we could. We ended up having to surplus that vehicle because it was no longer roadworthy. So the division has been down a vehicle. The replacement is sorely needed at this point. There's adequate funding appropriated in the water fund to complete the purchase of the replacement chassis and the service body for the sewer maintenance vehicle replacement. The current unit is a 2011 model with over 11,000 hours of use. Our city mechanic's office reports that due to its heavy usage, the truck bed is rusting on the inside and outside. The injectors need replaced, and this is a rather costly replacement. There have been recent instances of breakdown of the crane and the reel that are essential elements for that, given the work that they're doing in the sewer system. All of this considered, the vehicle has reached its reasonable end of life for our purposes. As such, it would be offered for sale. We would surplus it and offer it for sale or for auction at a later date. Again, this year there is no state bid for this type of vehicle, unfortunately. In this case, the chassis are not available in our state bid program specifically. Nothing was found as we looked at other cooperative purchasing programs available to us. As a result, staff reached out to several local vendors to solicit quotes for the needed chassis. Germain Ford of Beaver Creek submitted a quote for two F-550 chassis for a little over $71,000 per unit. We found this to be the best value available to us. Germain Ford indicated that the city could expect delivery of the vehicles essentially by the end of this calendar year, so there's likely still an extended lead time for the purchase or for the delivery, even if authorized. Staff's requesting council waive competitive bidding requirements for the purchase of these two F-550 truck chassis from Germain Ford so that we can secure a place online and get that order in. Staff was able to find the needed truck bodies through Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Program. This is a program that we, of course, participate in. These are made available through Sourcewell with K.E. Rose Company, which can provide the water division vehicle body for $55,690, and the truck body for the sewer division vehicle, including the crane and the air compressor assemblies, for $93,900. We are requesting the council approve resolution 2024-26 this evening. This would both waive the competitive bidding and authorize the purchase of the trucks from or the chassis from Germain Ford of Beaver Creek, as well as the purchase of the two truck bodies from K.E. Rose, again at the price points that we've indicated. So requesting this action this evening.
Great. Any comments or questions before we go?
More or less, yeah.
Yes.
So you can ask Brian, but normally they do that.
That's normal.
Yeah.
That's normal standard. All right, thanks.
Ethan, you okay?
Yeah, I got my question answered.
Oh, good. Okay, all right. Do I have a motion?
You want to ask that question?
Well,
for approval? Or do you want to, go ahead.
let me
James.
ask
I'm
this
sorry, go ahead,
question.
James.
I'm the one standing as in the big unknown here on this one. On the financed amount, we're financing 71,785 of a total savings of 2,235. I'm trying to understand that. I can't get my mind around that one.
Looking at this page.
If you flip back,
It's the back page of the,
one,
they have the 14, 17.
2, 3, fifth page of your the fifth page. Or was this something that we had discussed?
We're paying cash.
Yeah, I don't know, it says amount financed, but we're not financing anything, we're not borrowing.
So
dollars.
that's a misstatement, or what is that? What is this page telling me?
The total manufacturer suggested retail price, there was some kind of discount given. I can't detail exactly what that is. So the final sales price, additional fees, which I'm assuming some sort of registration. Where it says amount financed, in our particular case, it's not being financed. These are being paid for essentially out of our water and sewer funds respectively. Total savings, I'm assuming that's the discount amount. I can't detail what that's for, and I'm going to guess that our public service director doesn't know either. But at the point when they inquired about the specs for the units, there was probably some type of consideration given. We could find out, but to be honest, I'm not sure what it is.
I think they probably just, in general, are financing these types of purchases, and so it's just the default way that they're showing it, but it's just the cost of the vehicle. So the 71,785 ties obviously to what we're requesting council to approve as far as the expenditure. So you've got the MSRP amount minus the discount and the fees. Why it says amount financed, I don't know. It's not being financed.
Truthfully, the discount may be because it is cash purchase and not being financed, ironically, but.
All right, thank you for answering my question on this one.
Good, Ethan, you okay?
Yeah, my questions are answered, so I'm good.
All right, do I have a motion for approval?
I move for approval of resolution 2024-026.
Moved by Councilman Reynolds, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Councilwoman Cerise. Any more questions or comments? All right, let's call the vote.
Vice President Smith.
Aye.
Councilman Crawford.
Aye.
Councilwoman Surrice.
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Mayor May.
Aye.
President Urschel.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item is Resolution 2024-27. This is approving an addendum to the full-service lighting agreement with Miami Valley Lighting. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, sir. In 2015, the city entered into a 10-year full-service lighting agreement with Miami Valley Lighting, which established construction costs and monthly fees for lighting of city streets and other publicly owned properties. Despite this, there remained approximately 170 streetlights that, for one reason or another, were not included in the current lighting agreement. This includes the decorative historic replica lights that we have in our downtown area at Xenia Station, Shawnee Park, and so forth. Because staff has neither the expertise nor the equipment to continue to maintain the lights of this nature, we feel it's prudent to begin divesting of these lights and their maintenance obligations. And this is, of course, something we've had extensive conversation with council about.
Right.
To this end, Miami Valley Lighting will be completing a survey of city-owned lights this year, and will follow with a formal proposal for assuming all of the lights as part of their lighting system in the future. All city street lights would then be subject to any future full-service lighting agreements, particularly regarding construction and the monthly lighting costs. In the meantime, Miami Valley Lighting has discovered that there are city-owned decorative lights, in particular those of the James T. Henry traffic circle and within the median on West Main Street near Allison Avenue, that are not included in the current agreement, those style of lights. So for maintenance functions, there's no price point for those purposes for those lights in those locations. So the proposed addendum to the current full-service lighting agreement with Miami Valley Lighting will establish those monthly fees for those unique lighting features. For reference purposes, the Tier 2 LED heritage fixtures that are those that would be installed at the Henry traffic circle, and the dual heritage fixtures are those for the West Main Street median. These fixtures will only be installed upon an existing high-pressure sodium or metal halide streetlights becoming inoperable. As the city is ultimately intending to divest itself of the streetlight responsibility, staff's recommending council approval of the attached addendum to the existing full-service lighting agreement. I also want to add this evening that we just learned this week that we are being awarded a Light Up Ohio, is that the right term? Brighton, Ohio grant that we've applied for. This will provide resources to help us convert in some of the, in particular, historic neighborhoods like along Second Street here, where we have the
Second Street,
Acorn
right.
Light. Council had instructed us to look at alternatives for long-term feasibility, sustainability, how we're going to manage those. This is a $500,000 grant that will go toward replacement of those, and that will then allow us to replace it with fixtures that we can then incorporate into the Miami Valley Lighting contract,
Okay.
which they can't support those existing fixtures.
Right.
So we'll be able to have historic fixtures that match within Miami Valley Lighting. So I want to applaud Ryan Baker and our staff for pursuing that grant opportunity that's bringing value and allowing us to do something that we otherwise didn't have a financial strategy to deal with. So congratulations to him on that. So again, it kind of pairs into this because it's another step that we'll take to provide a long-term maintenance strategy for all the streetlights.
Right, great.
Please pass on our congratulations.
Yeah, my pleasure,
That is
absolutely.
Very
fantastic.
nice, very nice. Yeah.
So yeah, just looking for approval this evening of Resolution 2024-27 to allow us to incorporate this amendment. And then at a later date, we would come back with a more comprehensive citywide agreement
Right.
with Miami Valley Lighting. That's just gives us a holdover in the meantime until we get all of that accomplished.
Got it. All right, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by the mayor, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Crawford. Sorry, James.
That's what I'm thinking.
Hold on, second.
I can
Councilman
second.
Crawford? Okay.
Yes, Councilman Crawford, yep.
Thank you.
Any more questions or comments before we vote?
One
Yeah,
question.
Ethan, go ahead.
So when I was reading the addendum here, it stated that if the pole becomes damaged or inoperable, it'll replace with the equivalent sized pole LED fixture. So my question is it just the same size? Is it gonna be the same style? Or are we gonna stick with are they gonna be required to replace it with another Manchester pole?
Yeah, so it'll be the contractual requirement would be like kind. So we'll get an equivalent quality of product.
Fantastic.
And Mr. City Manager, on the decision on what streets get what lights, how is that process?
Yeah, historically, what we have done, so if we have, for the Water Street Historic District, I think that's an example, and that type of neighborhood, what we would do, if the neighbors desired that upgraded lighting feature, we can do some type of an assessment approach. Those historic lighting, the poles themselves are quite a bit more expensive than the utilitarian. So it's an option that's available to individual neighborhoods, but we offer that at the premium, at their obligation. So,
Okay.
we've done that in a few neighborhoods over time, but not something that we do a lot, but it is an option.
Very nice, thank you.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure, go ahead, Faith.
I think this was the grant, the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant Program, part of that, where you could get up to $500,000 per county. Do you know if we were awarded that full amount for Greene County?
I do not know, I would have to check.
Just curious.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm familiar with that, but I do not know the answer to that question.
Thank you.
Well, thanks, Brent. I think, the overall goal was to get all of the maintenance for all the lighting in the city under Miami Valley, and to get away from us having to maintain specific fixtures for these select sub-neighborhoods there, which was a burden on our maintenance folks, and once again, trying to, source those various components was getting to be more and more difficult. So thanks you guys for pursuing. I know we have more legislation, more work to come on this, but this is definitely moving in the right direction, so thanks, Brent.
Yep.
Good. All right, we moved already, didn't we?
Yep.
I moved and-
Properly second.
Okay, any other questions or comments? All right, let's go ahead and call a vote.
Vice President Smith,
Aye.
Councilman Crawford,
Aye.
Councilwoman Surrice,
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds,
Aye.
Councilman Dean,
Aye.
Mayor May.
Aye.
President Urschel,
Aye.
motion carries.
All right, next is Resolution 2024-28, awarding the bid and authorizing execution of the contract with LJ DeWeese Company, Inc. for the 2024 CBDG Downtown Sidewalk Improvement Project. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, sir. Once every 2 years, the city receives a community development block grant fund allocation for public improvements, qualifying areas to enhance overall aesthetics, to encourage future private investment, to supplement those enhancements in such neighborhoods. For the 2022 allocation funding, the city was awarded a total of $145,000 as an allocation, with the intent that this would be used for downtown public improvements. These resources must be expended by July 31st of 2024. The allocation grant is intended to act as a supplement to fund a much larger project that enhances the overall aesthetics and safety here of our downtown sidewalks. The targeted area for improvement will focus on deteriorated sidewalks along the first block of East Main Street, which is the base bid amount, and on the first block of South Detroit Street. This is listed as bid alternates A and B. The effort is intended to pair with our anticipated infrastructure improvements associated with the forthcoming Xenia Market District redevelopment to tie these areas together more seamlessly and promote safety with that project, obviously. The engineer's estimate for the project, which includes the base bid and alternates A and B, was $575,131. On Wednesday, April 17th, the city received 3 bids from qualified contractors. Those are listed in your agenda packet. It should be noted there was a 4th bid, but it was unresponsive and therefore disqualified. The apparent low bidder upon opening of bids was Nera Construction Incorporated, which had no experience with the city, and as such our engineering staff checked references for verification of its ability to successfully complete a project of this nature. It was clear that the low bidder had sufficient experience in asphalt work, but little experience in concrete work, and the references that we received did not involve concrete work. I should say the references that we received that did involve concrete work were well below average. As a result, the staff is concerned about the prospects of awarding the bid to Nera Construction as the qualifications to successfully complete the contract work have just not been demonstrated. We are therefore recommending the next lowest bidder, looking at lowest and best. In this case, that is LJ DeWeese Company Incorporated. We're recommending that they be awarded the contract. They have successfully completed similar work for the city, has numerous years of experience in concrete construction. Additionally, sufficient funds are available to award both the base bid and the 2 alternates, so we're further recommending the awarded bid in the amount at an amount not to exceed $616,915. I want to note here also that although the bid of DeWeese exceeded the engineer's estimate under Ohio law, as long as it's not more than 20%, council can award that. So in this case, the 20% would be $690,000 and change. So we fall below that. So again, we think it's prudent to go ahead and get all of that work or as much work done as possible at once. So again, recommending resolution 2024-28 approval to award the bid to LJ DeWeese Company.
Do I have a motion for approval?
I move for resolution 2024-028.
I'll second that.
Moved by Councilman Reynolds, seconded by Councilwoman Cerise. Any question or comments here before we vote?
Yes, Mr. City Manager. Just from the public side, what can the public expect to see with this kind of expenditure in terms of what that improvement looks like? So
Yeah.
if I live in a city, we're going to spend that kind of money. What is it?
Yeah.
Is it cosmetic? Are we gaining real estate? Are we expanding into the bike paths or roads? Or what
This will do several things. Obviously, it will repair portions of concrete that are in curb that are in disrepair, and thus a safety issue to the general public, the pedestrian public downtown. We're also integrating some saw cuts to be able to install electric to a lot of the infrastructure down along the streetways. Things as menial as Christmas lights are difficult because we're currently plugging them into the existing light poles, which we can facilitate. Unfortunately, there's not enough electricity coming to those, and so oftentimes they don't work effectively. So this will provide the first phase of installing that additional electric infrastructure so we can safely have electric outlets for uplighting on trees, seasonal lights, potentially connections for vendor booths for downtown events, so we'll have more electric connections. We should bear in mind too that community development block grant dollars can't be used just anywhere in the city. It has to be a qualifying area based on census tract. Downtown is a qualifying area, and we felt like this was a good use of resources that everyone in the community via our business core can benefit from by upgrading this infrastructure and improving the safety, and again then pairing that with the investments that are intended to be made with the market district.
Thank you.
Yes, this in many cases isn't repairing existing, this is, there's sections where curbs are missing and chunks of sidewalk are missing as well. And, yeah, this is,
And I should add, this is intended to be sort of phase one of a multi-phase approach so that we can get our entire downtown core.
Right.
You know, our goal is to improve those safety conditions everywhere in our downtown, to have a similar aesthetic in terms of the streetscape and lighting and so forth that would match the historic downtown with the Market District. So again, this is just the first from what we would anticipate being a series of phases over the coming years.
Thank you very much.
Brent, when do you anticipate the work will be accomplished?
Pretty immediately, because we have to have the monies encumbered by July 31st. Doesn't have to be completely done by that point, but it has to be completely encumbered. So yeah, work I think will begin quite soon.
Yeah.
Monsoon lets up.
Right. If we get right to the weather, yeah, no doubt.
Right. And the plan is to tie that in with the sidewalk and curbing plan for the
Yeah.
Market District
Yeah.
as well.
So
Right,
as-
so that will
as-
give us a
yep.
tie in the rest of downtown.
Yeah, so that we have, you know, we look forward to the brand new infrastructure that will go in the Market District, but you know, we want to make sure that that fits with the aesthetic of the rest of the downtown. So we want to bring the rest of the downtown up to at least similar look and feel. Probably won't all be new quality, but certainly addressing safety issues and making sure that the aesthetic is matching between that new area and the more historic area.
Right, and we're planning on executing both of the alternate A and B as well.
Yeah,
if we
so,
approve the
so
funding.
this would award the base bid as well as alternates A and B.
Right, right. Any other questions or comments? I'd just say that those sidewalks and curbs have been in terrible shape for a number of years, and the repairs have been delayed while we've been getting the Market District plan put together, and now that these two things are, and so, Chris, it's timely we were able to get those funds still, as we were delaying those to be able to execute this, so thanks you guys for holding on to that and doing that well. Brian, I know we've been pushing to get that done earlier.
Yeah.
But it was appropriate for us to do that tie-in. so
Plans are
thanks.
finally coming together. Yeah.
Right, so, and we were fortunate we didn't have many people tripping and hurting themselves on something, because they were fairly rough there on South Detroit Street, so.
No lawsuit conversations this evening, thankfully.
Right, great. All right, let's go ahead and call the vote.
Vice President Smith.
Aye.
Councilman Crawford.
Aye.
Councilwoman Reese.
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Mayor May. Aye. President Urschel.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, next item is Resolution 2024-29, amending Resolution 2024-20, establishing the city's 2024 organizational plan, listing position titles and numbers of positions for each title for the City of Xenia personnel. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, sir. On April 11th, 2024, on April 11th, the 2024 organizational plan was approved by council via Resolution 2024-20. With this, the final designation of court positions in the organization plan and pay grades associated with those positions was left undetermined pending some additional discussion with council. Council subsequently directed the Administrative Steering Committee to review the matter and make a final recommendation. A meeting with court leadership was held as well as the Administrative Steering Committee on May 2nd. And recommended amending the municipal court positions for which council is statutorily obligated to set the compensation by removing the C designations on the pay grades to show that those specific municipal court positions are the same as other non-union city employee pay grades, and to change the pay grades for the court reporter and probation officer as stipulated in the report. This change in pay grades mirrors the changes made for similar non-union city employees. The amendment to the city's pay plan follows as a resolution 2024-30 to further clarify that the pay grades for those specific municipal court positions and other non-union city positions are the same. So we are recommending approval of resolution 2024-29 tonight, finalize the matter, and we'll be able to move forward.
All right, great. Do I have a motion here for approval?
I move to approve resolution 2024-029.
Motion by Councilman Reynolds. Do I have a second?
I will second that.
Second by Councilwoman Cerise. Any question or comments before we vote? I'd just say, we have the judge and Mike here as well. Thanks, gentlemen, for coming and joining us tonight. Thanks for participating in the steering committee and being patient with us as we worked through this. This was delayed on our side as we were waiting for to see if the police fire levy would pass, which unfortunately did not in March. And that pushed off our discussions until April, which normally would happen in the January-February timeframe. And because we hadn't been able to catch the steering committee group with you folks, we pushed off again, and I know. So anyways, I just want to tell the court thank you for your patience with us. I think we've gotten to a good spot here with that, and got everybody back aligned together with one common group of folks here under our pay plans here. So yeah, and thanks for our folks on our side working on that. I talked to the judge a little bit before. We're going to get started a lot earlier this next year.
Absolutely.
With you as well. So thanks, Judge.
Thank you, council and appointed officials, for the responsiveness in getting this put to rest here this evening. I appreciate
Sure.
it. I'll sleep well on that.
Great, thank you. All right, any other comments? All right, let's go ahead and call the vote.
Vice President Smith.
Aye.
Councilman Crawford.
Aye.
Councilwoman Surrice.
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Mayor May.
Aye.
President Urschel.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Great. Next item, this is a companion item for the last resolution. This is Resolution 2024-29. I'm sorry, 2024-30, amending Resolution 2024-21, establishing the 2024-2027 pay plan for city employees. Mr. City Manager.
Yeah, again, this just establishes the specific pay ranges and accompanies the prior item.
Great. Okay, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by the mayor. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Crawford. Any comments or questions by the council? All right, let's go ahead and call the vote.
Vice President Smith.
Aye.
Councilman Crawford.
Aye.
Councilwoman Surrice.
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Mayor May.
Aye.
President Urschel.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Great, thank you so much. Next item is appointed official reports. Mr. Finance Director.
Thank you, Council President. I know the city manager had sent an email on this earlier today as well, but the utility changes that council approved actually back toward the end of last year, they're set to be effective June 1st. With that, one of the changes is a change in our approach to stormwater fees in the ERU, equivalent residential unit model. That does mean that the amount that's due, especially for commercial and industrial properties, is going to change somewhat significantly for some of those entities. In an attempt to try to give them some notice in what their fees may look like, rather than them just getting a bill without any idea in June that's due in July. Finance Department went through, looked at any of the customers across the city that would have a monthly fee in excess of $20.
Right.
I think that was about 400, somewhere in that range, 400 customers that were impacted, and so we sent letters to those that we thought would be impacted and have interest in knowing what those estimated fees would be. So those letters went out last week, started to hit mailboxes here this week. I know we've heard from a few customers, and I'm sure that council will start to hear from some of the stakeholders as well.
Right.
And so I just wanted you all to be aware of those changes. I think everybody understands to some extent what that formula looks like and how those are calculated. I know there is a process where if someone has on-site retention, they can request a credit and talk through that process with the Public Service Department. So we've already directed a couple of customers to them to talk through, what kind of credit may be granted because of that on-site retention. There's also an appeal process. If somebody feels like their fee's been calculated incorrectly, they can certainly appeal those amounts, and there's a process in code for us to address those. I was talking to the law director earlier. The window for them to appeal, it's not from the time that they get that letter. We think it would be from the time that the code becomes effective.
Right.
And so they'd have really through the month of June. July 1st would be kind of that cutoff for them to apply for or appeal those fees. So I'm sure we'll be fielding numerous questions about those fees, and feel free to direct people to us who have questions about how it's calculated and who want more detail on those types of things, and we'd be happy to walk through those calculations with them. So that's all I have this evening.
So we got about 11,000 homes and about 700 commercial enterprises here in the city. And you sent out how many letters?
400, and that's for those whose fees are in excess of $20 per month. Obviously, no residential units are beyond the $4.50.
Right.
So those are all standard, no significant jumps. So it will really be the commercial and industrial, institutional
Right.
type properties that were impacted.
Right. So as you may remember, the principal reason we were doing this was twofold. One, we did not have the adequate funding really to address the major upgrades needed in the stormwater system. And that really serves two purposes. One, getting the water off the, correct me if I'm wrong, Brent, but getting water off the road. Right, which we need to do, otherwise our roads continue to deteriorate. And the second one is to manage flooding as well per federal law, right, which we have to do as well too. And Chris, I don't know, how old are parts of our stormwater system?
Turn of the century.
Turn of the century, yeah. Downtown area, right?
Case in point, and then at the risk of airing dirty laundry, we had an instance just right next door on Collier Street where we had a turn of the century storm main, an original brick storm main.
Yeah.
That quite literally collapsed and failed, and we had a vehicle that fell into that. So that resulted in us, completely redoing that roadway. So there's been years of neglect of the system, and I think, I shared an email with council earlier. If you're asked, where's my money going here? It's
Right.
going to flood prevention primarily, so that we
Right.
can be compliant with what EPA requires of us. But there's infrastructure investment that can help extend the value of road maintenance and
Right.
paving dollars. There's value in some historic neglected areas like the 3rd Street retaining wall, the area up in Arrowhead that we've visited in our walking tour before, where there are no resources to correct those
Right.
problems.
Right.
This provides an infusion of resources to begin to do that. So I listed some of those things for you. If you have additional questions, feel free to reach out. But there's a value add that people should begin seeing even later this year with those additional resources.
Yeah. And once again, the major change here was that those commercial enterprises primarily that had very large surface areas were not being charged anywhere proportion to the amount of stormwater that's being removed from their areas.
Nowhere close, yep.
Right, and that's why we went through the whole study last year to get the equivalent residential units and then to calculate that parcel by parcel in terms of what that was, so that we could have a much more consistent charge per the water we're actually removing and we were having to manage through the system.
And this has really been about a 3-year process, from initial conversation, authorizing then the study that was done, collection of all the data, assembly or systematically going through and reviewing that, bringing recommendations back to the utility management committee and then back to council. I think we had a work session on it.
Right.
So there's been an extensive process and lots of opportunities for input to arrive at a final solution. So this was not a knee jerk. This is a long needed action, and again, something that's been years in the work.
Great, okay, good. Any other questions for Ryan? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just, so when Mr. City Manager, since you commented somewhat on this to some degree, how does, we have to defend and sell at the same time in some cases, and so for future development per se, and we know what the expected growth is, the anticipated growth, how does this program launch or help to facilitate that, or does it?
Yeah, there'll be an established set of expectations for what overhead costs will be, whether that's a residential household or for a commercial or industrial. As a new venture would unfold in the community, they'd be subject to this type of additional fee from the get-go. Then those institutions are in particular are paying what we would consider a fair share portion of fee to offset the amount of water that they are essentially contributing to the problem. So, how do we defend it? Well, again, we're trying to make investments in infrastructure that protect health, safety, and welfare of the community. The core of this program is flood prevention. These systems, be it a catch basin, be it curbing on roads, the sewer mains themselves, even the conveyance systems, the network of streams in our community, all of this water, as we've seen here even this evening, with these heavy rain events, is conveyed through that so that it's not collecting in populated areas. So the core intent is to maintain, safety of the general public, the security and safety of public and private infrastructure, so we can convey that water safely. And again, we are subject to regulations at the state and federal level to have a stormwater management plan. In fact, Mr. Berger, I think, just submitted that earlier this year, an updated plan. And so this utility, in essence, is required for us to continue to maintain compliance and, frankly, just to protect the general public.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Great, thanks. Any other questions for Ryan? All right. Madam Law Director.
I have nothing to add this evening, thank you.
Thanks, Danette. Any questions for Danette?
No, I'm just kidding. No questions.
Okay, good, thank you. Brent?
That means I get her timed in too,
Yeah,
right?
you sure do.
I know him, I see my family.
First, I do have with me this evening a letter for Senator Dolan in reference to our local request for
Correct.
state funding assistance for Market District. I'd like to have everybody sign that before we leave tonight, so I think we've made some of the edits that were requested, and we've got that prepared so we can get that sent out. Second, I wanted to give council a heads up that we are planning to schedule a comprehensive review of the final draft of Next Plan. For May 23rd. So we'll be sending out some materials ahead of time. I need to have some follow-up conversation with the city planner and assistant city manager to figure out exactly how we want to do that, because it's a lot of material. And I don't know that we expect you to read everything in detail, so we'll figure out how best to convey that. But we do think it would be helpful for you to at least do a cursory review so that you can come into that as prepared as possible. It's a lot of material to cover, and we want to go as much in depth as you need. But again, I also want to make sure we're not here till midnight. So we're planning to do that in conjunction with our normal roundtable that we would do at the end of the month, and we will have a couple of important topics to cover. Some of the topics that we will have to cover that night is in relation to my next piece, which is we are planning to do a joint session with Xenia Township Board of Trustees on June 6th. We are working as staff to evaluate the proposed agenda items from the township and incorporate some thoughts that we might have. We'll circle back with the council president to finalize that on our end, and then I'll get back with the township administrator and hopefully be in a position to publish probably around June 3rd or so. And then we'll publish 2 separate agendas. This will be new for most of you because I don't think we've, except for probably Wes, we've done any joint sessions with other entities, but we do have to align our procedures, you know, as weird as it sounds, you know, Pledge of Allegiance and some of the things, what are the protocol that we should follow.
Are we going to bring our flag too?
They should be similar.
Let's hope so.
But again, we'll try to integrate those procedures. It's been quite a long time since we've done a joint session with the township. But again, I think we're all quite grateful for the invitation, and there are lots of opportunities to talk about collaboration. And again, once we get the agenda items, we'll share that back with council. Finally, just requesting that council move forward to exercise the executive session option this evening. We would request that for the purposes of purchase or sale of land, economic development, and some items related to personnel matters. So I would ask for some additional time of yours this evening at the conclusion of our regular session.
Okay. Great, thanks.
Thanks.
You know, I've been going to the township trustee meetings for the last 2 years, and this really was at their invitation to have all of us come out, and I think that's a great opportunity for us to sit across the table with the trustees there and talk about things. Principally, we're going to talk about a number of opportunities, concerns that they have. This would be really an opportunity to let them to communicate that to us. We have a few items on our agenda side as well. We're not going to be making any decisions that evening, but it's a good first pass at us just getting the communication. We're going to do it at the township offices, which I don't know how many of you had a chance to go there. They've got their offices plus their fire station there as well. They may give us a little bit of tour after the meeting, so you can take a look at that. But it's always good to go on their grounds and see things from their perspective as well too. So,
Maybe they want to meet us because they've met with you for 2 years.
they probably would prefer I didn't show up that night and you guys would, right? That's what they're really asking for, right? Please, could you guys come instead, right? So
No,
good.
it's great. It's wonderful. Glad we're going to do that.
Yeah. Any other questions for Brent? Okay. All right, let's go to council comments and reports. Councilwoman Cerise.
Yeah, I got to attend the Health Science Academy Advisory Committee meeting at Greene County Career Center, and which is, I'm not sure how to discuss it, if I should talk in first, second, or third person, because I also am, of course, a primary instructor for the Health Science Academy as well. But I can report that we put, I believe, out of 34 kids, I think we got 29 out into the workforce for fourth quarter grading period, where after the students receive their state tested nurse aid certification, then they can go out and start working.
Right.
And they get credit for that towards graduation. So we have all those kids out in the workforce. We of course use Premier and Kettering Health Partners and quite a few of the extended care facilities in this area. United Church Homes is a big employer for us, so that would be like Trinity, for example,
Right,
of
right.
Fairborn, and of also Beaver Creek. And so it was really interesting. They had made a suggestion
Faith,
to.
do they have multiple locations that?
Yes, yeah, like they do have the one in Fairborn that
Right.
opened secondly, and then of course the one that's off of Indian Ripple and
Right.
Beaver Creek. So they're all really good to hire our kids in, and then they had made the suggestion that it would be wonderful if we could get some of the simulators that are they look like dolls, you know, that you can actually run health crisis scenarios on them. And I, as the teacher, can put a headset on and talk through the person. They have a speaker in the top of their head.
Right.
And so as they're going through a scenario, like for example, full cardiac arrest, I can speak to the student and they can respond and hopefully appropriately, and they can actually provide care. And so then afterwards, I can run a transcript and we can sit down and discuss what occurred and find out what worked and what could maybe work differently or better, depending on the outcome of the patient.
Yeah.
So it's a great way to start developing those critical thinking skills with those students, because they normally would get that at the post-secondary level, and so we're doing that at the
Yeah.
high school level.
Yeah.
So because we were awarded some of the grant monies from your boss, Mr. DeWine, so that was great that the governor had those grant funds available. So we had just purchased 3 new simulators, a child, an adult male, and then a geriatric female, which funny enough looks like me. So anyway, today we had the Lieutenant Governor,
Yeah.
John Husted, came out, and Representative Bill Dean. So your
Yeah.
dad came in, and then also Senator Bob Hackett and his lovely wife Sue stopped
Great.
in. Channel 7 was there, Dayton Daily News came. I mean, our room was, we only thought just like one person was coming, and I looked up and there was about 15. So
Yeah.
it was amazing. They got to interview a couple of our excellent students. They did all the talking and demonstrated the equipment. And so it was exciting for them to see that, oh wow, we've already ordered this equipment and put it into place.
Nice.
Yeah, and we're using it today, so we were really thankful for that.
Yeah.
So,
Isn't that great? Well, what an asset the Career Center is to us, and just one more example of an amazing training that's going on there.
oh, I know, especially getting these kids out in the workforce, which
Yeah.
is great. And then they get all those CCP and articulated credit and CTAG, which is great because it puts them way ahead when then they actually leave and go to college, because they've got quite a few courses out of the way. In fact, we're becoming pre-nursing next year.
Wow.
And so when the students leave, they only have to take 3 courses and they'll have their LPN.
Oh,
Wow.
And then a few more and they'll have their RN.
Wow.
I know, so they're taking everything on our side this time, which is great.
Yeah, yeah.
Congratulations.
Good job.
Yeah, it's
That's
fun.
amazing.
It's fun stuff. Love it.
Thanks, Faith.
Thank you.
Sure. Councilman Reynolds.
So we haven't had a budget meeting, so nothing to report there, but I just want to bring some stuff to the attention of the public. I think it's just really interesting. I think we've had a great year in Xenia so far, so we're about 120 days into this new council, right, to this council here. We're putting in this year $2,397,998 into our city streets. That's Right Cycle Estates, East Second, 42, East Market.
Right.
That's what we've done so far. And then also, additionally, we've had 38 new jobs come to Xenia. I think it's massive for us.
Right.
And not only that, we've also added 100 jobs, transitional jobs that are moving into Xenia at the old Super Value.
Right.
So, we are a city on the move and we're growing. I think it's exciting times for us. So, I think people don't get to hear that side of things.
Yeah.
They know we vote on the legislation. I don't think they know what exactly is going on sometimes with the legislation. So just to sum up what we've done so far this year, just in the last 100 and I think it's 23 days or something like that.
Right,
So
right. Thanks, Ethan.
that's all I have.
Great.
Good.
It's great news.
Councilman Crawford.
Yeah, I was just listening to the 2 responses thus far. I feel blessed to be among such a group of professionals. And some of you aren't on this podium, but my thing in this is you guys have done the heavy lifting, and I can sense it. And for me, I feel responsible to say, you know, I'm here to support, I'm here to bring, I'm just hardwired to culture change.
Yeah.
If something isn't done right for the right reason, I will question it.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the opportunity to being free to ask the kind of questions that I do. I know I do probe a little bit, but that's really, there's no harm intended in that.
Sure.
But I just want to let you know that I appreciate this council, this group, the setting that we have. You name it. It's just really huge. And Sarah, you're a blessing. You've been a blessing to me and encouragement that I just really appreciate. With that being said, we did this month have a BZA meeting. We denied one petition, and we actually approved a second one. And I just want to say, Brian's approval process to the process of the BZA is just, I mean, without him we'd be lost. And again, he's part of the professionalism that I have appreciation for. His process of viewing and why we got the second request approved had much to do with Brian's research and just him willing to hear out the citizen in their request. So that got approved. So I don't want to go into details on that, but that's basically it. We had a property management meeting.
Yeah.
And thank
you guys dried out yet?
We are dried out. We did go to the police station on West 2nd Street, and this is my first time being there. In all honesty, I've seen military barracks look better than that. And I'm not being critical,
Right.
but I am being honest.
But that's the facility we've provided to those young men and women.
That's exactly right. And I know what barracks look like, not because I served, but because my dad was a drill sergeant, and he took me to those barracks where those recruits had to live. And I've seen those barracks and how they had to live, and I see what these firemen have to live in, and the conditions by which they live by. It's a little bit better, but it's very similar. And I'm being honest with you. Now this is back in the '60s, obviously, but it is what it is. I don't know how much of this I can talk about, but we did a tour of a proposed property. Am I allowed to talk about this?
As long as you don't disclose where.
Okay. Yikes! We did a tour today of the actual fire department, and I was impressed. I took a couple of pictures that I was impressed with some of the equipment and just their facility. We got fed there. I want to thank the fire chief for inviting us there and meeting some of the firemen that were there, that work there, they're assigned to that, and the medics as well. I can't say much more other than it was a good full hour that we spent there, and appreciated the value of it being exposed and experiencing that.
Yeah.
And with that, I have nothing else.
Great. Thanks, James. Councilman Dean?
Thank you, Mr. President. Last night we had a Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. There were two items in front of it. One was for conditional use to allow proposed research and development business at the old senior center, and
Right.
that was approved.
Great.
And then the other was the presentation of next plan, and that was also approved.
Great.
So, any questions?
Great.
Okay. That's
Thanks,
all I
Levi.
have.
Yeah. Mr. Vice President?
All right, thank you. If it's okay with Councilman Dean, I'd like to congratulate him.
Yeah.
We missed you last meeting, but congratulations on your wedding. And best wishes for you. And also congratulations goes out to over 200 graduates that'll be graduating from Xenia Community Schools on May 22nd. May 14th is the first graduation that I'm aware of for high schools, and that's the Greene County Career Center, and that'll be at the Nutter Center on May 14th. And Faith, you probably know, it's like 500 graduates. It's
Yeah.
pretty large,
Yeah.
the largest class so far they've had.
Wow.
Pretty significant amount of students, so congratulations to them. And then also our local school legacy, Christian Academy is graduating their class on May 23rd. So congratulations to them. And other than that, just thanks to all the staff. Thanks to Brian for the work in Next Plan and for planning. I'd like to piggyback on what Councilman Reynolds says as far as the professionalism of our Xenia staff. Just thank you for the job that you guys do. It's a thankless job. It's sad, we really can't post much on Facebook, even positive things, without people jib-jabbing about the street conditions. You know, we're not oblivious to the situation. It's a problem. We're talking about it every meeting, and other than funding, we're a little short on the dollars. So it's not a lot we can do, but we're doing the best we can. So again, thank you for your comments, and if you have some ideas, certainly come forward and help us out. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Wes. Madam Mayor?
Thank you. I didn't have this in my original notes, but with graduation, I will also mention Wilberforce and Cedarville University
Right.
both had their graduations this past Saturday, and Central State will be this Saturday, so looking
This
forward.
Saturday?
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
Yep, looking forward to that. XREC is we usually meet on the first Tuesday of the month. We canceled this particular meeting, but we will be meeting, I think we're gonna try to meet in June. We have a couple things coming up, but, even though we didn't meet, we do have the fishing derby coming up on June 1st, so just make sure you're paying attention to that one. Oh, absolutely. If you want to come out and measure fish and help kids with the worms on the hooks, it's very fun.
I stood there last year with my clipboard and let Tom do that.
There you go.
I was like, I got you, Tom.
So, as far as my calendar, on Friday, April 26th, my husband and I attended the Violence Free Futures annual fundraiser, their spring fling. That's a very large event here in Greene County. At that event, Debbie Matheson announced her retirement coming up, so
wow.
we're very sad to see her retire, but she has done an amazing job with the work there, and she will really be missed. Saturday, April 27th, a couple of things. Obviously, that was the Spring Fling Day here in the city. Lots and lots of people to thank, but especially our city staff. I know Carly put a lot of work into that. Becky, of course, down at Flower. Just huge thanks for the folks that participated. Lots of people came out. We saw a lot of people, a lot of foot traffic here in the city. Very exciting, a great day. Also had an opportunity to throw out the first pitch at the Evans Acres, the new Xenia Rec Baseball League. So it was really fun to see the kids. They came out and they all lined up and kind of did a parade. And one of our local chaplains came out and prayed over the team. So it was a really fun kickoff to the season. That evening was the Xenia Schools Foundation, their Hall of Honor inductions. Wanted to note that the 4 inductees for the Xenia Hall of Honor was Dave Peterson, of course, one of our local lawyers here, Tim Payton, Kent Edward Anderson, and Dr. Crandall. I know Dr. Crandall passed a few months ago, but it was a really meaningful night to honor his legacy. His wife spoke. It was very beautiful. So that was a good night on the 27th. May 1st, Wednesday, May 1st, attended the United Way Big Thank You Breakfast. There was several local people that were highlighted, but really wanted to mention that Rebecca Cantrell, who is here, our Greene County representation, she was given the CEO Award of Leadership Impact. And it was a complete surprise to her, so it was really fun to see her honored that way. She's just doing a lot of work here in our community, so congratulations to her. On Thursday, May 2nd, attended National Day of Prayer. There was 2 different things that I attended for that. One was here at Greene Memorial. They have an annual prayer breakfast and had an opportunity to pray over our physicians. And later that day, in Beaver Creek, prayed there. There was a gathering at the 9/11 Memorial and had an opportunity to pray over our educational system. And then also that same day, of course, was the Popeyes ribbon cutting. So a lot of fun to be out there and enjoy their food. Anthony Munoz came out. There was a donation to his foundation. So it was a really fun day, very festive. Friday, May 3rd, attended the Greene County annual report out at Emerge. Wednesday, May 8th, attended the mayors and managers in Centerville. There wasn't really any legislative update, but Peggy Lehner, the mayor in Kettering, did bring up that we as a group possibly writing a letter to the House and just basically say get some work done and represent us. So not taking a side one way or the other, but as a collective group making our voice heard that we need some things to get done and need representation. So that is being kicked around. We do have the summer months off, but we changed our bylaws so we can discuss that via email now. That will be an ongoing discussion amongst the mayors. So. And then today I had the chance to speak to a government class at Chess Christian School down in Springboro. We spent better part of an hour talking about zoning and what that looks like in your community. We talked about property taxes and TIFs and all the things, so it was very nerdy and very fun, and we had a blast. And then I also did an interview with Bill from Hamvention. I can't remember his last name right now, it's in my email. We did an interview and recorded a welcome spot as
Great.
Hamvention is coming up on the, is it 16th?
16th.
Is that when it kicks off, or the 15th?
Is that Friday?
Friday. So the 16th and, or 17th, I'm sorry, 17th and 18th. And, yeah, be aware our Hamvention friends are coming to town, so did a lot of plugging for our local businesses, local restaurants, and really encourage people to come into town and take advantage of the city of hospitality. And then on a personal note, wanted to extend my condolences to the family of Greg Paxson. His funeral was this evening, so I was not able to attend. I was thinking about what I would say tonight and his impact without destroying children, right? So if you know Greg, you know that we have lost a dear friend in the community. Somebody who loved our community in ways most children have no idea and families have no idea. But he has impacted Xenia very deeply, and he will be missed. And I wanted to say thank you to his wife for sharing him with us.
Thank you. Thank you. I had an opportunity to represent the mayor at the Arbor Day festivities at Central Junior High School and Warner Junior High School with 300 sixth graders. And let me tell you, that's a pretty dry presentation of a proclamation. But we
You have to get him yelling.
well, we did. We got a quiz going on about various things, and I even asked the sixth. Yeah.
There's always ways.
There's a little bit of competition going on, and then we even got to ask the question of the sixth graders, who is the mayor? And you want to guess on what some of the responses were?
No. I don't want to know.
Well, we did have Joe Biden, and that wasn't right. But someone knew that Sarah Mays was our mayor. Wasn't that amazing?
That's
You
encouraging.
were impacting sixth graders.
Doesn't her son go there? No. Sorry.
It wasn't anyone related to her.
Okay.
Right. But the tree committee gave away 300 trees. Each of the sixth graders got a tree to take home and plant, which was pretty remarkable. So kudos to the tree committee to come and do that. They're going to be doing the tree planting once the new junior high building is up, and they'll do the actual tree planting. Normally they do a tree planting at that event, but kudos to the Greene County, or the state forestry folks that were there as well, and they did a great presentation on the history of Arbor Day and those types of things as well too. I got to go to the World's Affair this last weekend with my family, and I'll tell you, the events that are being hosted out there at the convention center, at the fairgrounds, is just incredible. Talking to the folks there, they said they figured they had anywhere from 33 to 35,000 people
That's
out there
true. That's true.
over the weekend.
It was huge.
And once again, they had representatives of 31 different nations there. They had dancing, food, and displays from each of the nations. And for the kids, they had a little passport that they gave. They go to each of the booths, and they gave them a quiz. I had information from their booths that they could do, and then the kids could get their passport stamped. And it was just really a great family event. One of the comments my wife made, and Chris was undercover that day there as well. I ran into him, but with that many people from that many diverse backgrounds coming to one location, and it was just one of the more peaceful events I've ever been to, and it was just remarkable. That's right here in our background. So, anyways, kudos to everyone. I think our principal security forces out there that day were the sheriffs that was on they're part of the fairgrounds. Once again, we'll have a little bit of discussion with the township folks. For those that don't know, about a third of the fairgrounds are within the municipality, 2/3 are within the township, and that's a real stressor there for folks who are coming, because there's different inspections going on, different support departments and those types of things, and we'd like to work with the township folks, see if there's some things we can do to help the folks and all the folks that the convention board out there and the things they're doing. Once again, the Hamvention's coming here in 2 weeks. Tens of thousands of folks will be coming to Hamvention over a few days. And then the concert at the end of the month is
31st.
Yeah, the 31st.
Strong Families with United Way.
Yeah, United Way, once again, one of the things United Way's put together. But just within a course of a month, we can have over 100,000 folks coming to the fairground, which is just amazing. So kudos to all the folks out there. And I'd just like to say, Spring Fling was just, was remarkable. Just want to say thank you to Becky from the flower there at the corner, the gift shop. She had over, I think it was over 100 vendors came in this year, which she does all the, the majority of the organization and figuring out where they're going to be. And the quality of the vendors is stepping up every year. I mean, it's just a great event there as well too. So just want to say thank you to everyone for that. As we remarked, I'm going to request that we go into executive session. We have multiple items there: purchase and sale of property, personnel matters, and then also economic development. So, do I have a motion for executive session?
I'll make a motion that we go into executive session.
Motion from Councilwoman Cerise. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Reynolds. Any comments or questions before we take a vote on that? All right, let's go ahead and call the vote.
Vice President Smith.
Aye.
Councilman Crawford.
Aye.
Councilwoman Surrice.
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Mayor May. President Urschel.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Great. Let's go ahead. Are we going to go into, let's go in the chambers here next door. We will, at the end of executive session, we'll be coming back into the regular session doing an adjournment. If you would like to stick around, feel free, but we have no more business to do at the end of the meeting. Let's take about 3 minutes to get moved over there, and we'll go ahead and get started with the executive session.